you and I, and most people that talk about this, we have no like direct access to knowledge about space.
This is all being given to us by other people.
You believe in the moon landing, right?
I used to believe in the moon landing.
You don't anymore?
It's one of our greatest achievements as Americans.
Sure.
Like, you gotta pry that from my cold dead hands to make me willing to give that up.
I would tell you that one of our greatest achievements is faking the moon landing.
I could be.
I think it's an amazing achievement. This was a time of deep deception in the American world. This is a time after Operation Northwoods. This is a time after the Kennedy assassination. This is a time... I mean, this is a weird, fucking shaky time in terms of propaganda. This is after Eisenhower warned about the military-industrial complex. This is like, there was a lot of deception. Gulf of Tonkin incident. There's a lot of open deception that the American people were being subject to. And then there's this Cold War between us and Russia, this space war for superiority.
We wanted it so bad we brought in Nazis.
There's a binary code, but that's missing. That stuff's missing. All the tracking data's, they can't find it. All the original footage is missing. Last time they did it was 1972. You don't think that's a little weird?
Not really.
No. Listen.
I don't think
even if
weird.
they did go to the moon. I'll say they went to the moon. It's fucking weird. Everything from 1969 is easier, cheaper, and faster to reproduce today. Except the moon landing, except space travel. Everything else, phones are in your fucking pocket now, and they have more computing power than the entire cluster that they used to launch the Apollo program. The Apollo program was a fucking giant room full of computers. Your phone is significantly more powerful than that.
Yeah.
Everything else got better, except that. We thought that people were going to be going to space all the time. Boy, by 1999, we'll be flying around spaceships and people will be living on the moon. Every time they've done, like in the past, like after the moon landings, every time they did any sort of like science fiction movie, it always involved like colonies already established on the moon and on Mars and people traveling, because we thought that was going to happen. So everything progresses technologically, except...
Well, but here's what I would say to that.
Except traveling to other planets. So here's the question. Could they compartmentalize things? The people that make the rockets, what you're doing is you're making a specific part, and this guy's making another part, and you have the engineers put this thing together. Of course they could. Yeah, that's possible. Could they get enough people to shut the fuck up because it's in the best interest of national security? Of course they could. And you could probably get away with doing something like that with a few hundred people. And you could get a few hundred people of high-ranking people that have top secret clearance keep their mouth shut, especially in 1969. First of all, if they killed the president, wow. And it seems like they kind of did that. So if they did this too...
Like, what else did they do?
Like, what other hoaxes were played on the American people?
Well, I will say, I don't even... The moon landing hoax idea it's barely even a kook take anymore. You're probably in the majority with your take on it. And the last time I talked about this publicly,
I got absolutely ripped to shreds.
I mean, it felt like 99% against, and it's going to happen again in response to this conversation.
99% against you?
Yeah,
against your take. So most people think that we didn't go to the moon.
Seems like it's shifting drastically. Once you see that this is a lie, this is a lie, this is a lie.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that is happening, and I'm totally sympathetic to that part of it. What gets me is, well, you have the people that say, yeah, I think the Earth's flat, and that's you're just really stupid. But what I was more fascinated by the like 80% of people who, 80% of the flat Earth crowd, 80% of them, their take was, well, I'm not saying the Earth is flat, but I'm open to it. So I'm open to the possibility. How are you? I get it if you're just completely stupid and you got sucked into this cult thing, but what I don't get is how can you be
on the fence about the shape of the Earth?
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
We're in the weirdest time where people are willing to believe bullshit. It's not as simple as being able to recognize bullshit. They recognize it, they have it right in front of them, and they're willing to believe it because it's more convenient to believe it. They can say something and it can be not true, but yet enough people repeat it, and then it just becomes a narrative. That's how dumb people are. You can have a fake thing and say it enough times, and enough people will jump in, and be on board with it, and then it becomes a real thing. And then you don't even have to like use propaganda anymore. These morons are doing it for you. People are so stupid, feeble, weak, terrified men